So, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has wrapped up key meetings with the National Security Advisor of the United States, Mike Waltz, also with Elon Musk, the owner of Tesla and Starlink, and of course, a very senior advisor now to President Donald Trump. Of course, right now also in a meeting with Vivek Ramaswamy, who, as you know, is a prominent Indian American politician and also a hopeful candidate for the position of governor of Ohio. That is Vivek Ramaswamy's next political ambition. So a series of important meetings before he moves on to meet President Trump later in the day. If you're sitting here and watching this in India, of course, that means at around 2:30 a.m. So right now we're around 11:45. Within about 2 or 3 hours, you're going to see the main meeting with Prime Minister Modi and President Donald Trump that is going to take place. But I thought it would be helpful for us to sit down, explain to you what these initial meetings have been about, what the Prime Minister has been trying to achieve in these couple of key meetings, and what the agenda points were really. So, we can start with Vivek Ramaswamy right at the end, of course, because that is a meeting that is currently happening. Of course, Mr. Ramaswamy is someone who rose to prominence in the 2024 election cycle as a Republican presidential candidate. Remember, that was a election cycle in which Donald Trump did not take part in the primaries very much. It was very much an open field. He was winning quite effortlessly, but there was a primary process happening at the very same time, with a number of politicians jostling, in some senses, to be number two to Donald Trump. But it turns out that Vivek Ramaswamy really came out from left field and really established a name for himself as a prominent, young, up-and-coming Republican face. He's, of course, a multimillionaire, a pharmaceutical entrepreneur, and was until recently one of the co-heads of the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, along with Elon Musk. Unfortunately, he was, according to several media reports, pushed out of that organization and is now considering a future run as governor of Ohio. We'll have to see if, of course, he wins that very high political office, but keeping him on side, someone who has been a key backer of Donald Trump, is extremely important. It's an important meeting for Prime Minister Modi to have because, of course, this is someone who has a good standing among some of Trump's political backers. He is someone who the president may trust. He's also a prominent Indian American voice who may go on to achieve further things in American politics. Perhaps, as I was saying, the governorship of Ohio seems to be his next target. If he succeeds in that endeavor, he will really be one of the most senior politicians in the United States. But short of that, he's likely to be an influential voice for some time to come within conservative circles. Therefore, that's a good meeting to have for the Prime Minister. Then, of course, we had the meeting between National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The two men discussed a number of things in terms of artificial intelligence, semiconductors, and also a key focus really of what the Prime Minister's visit has been all about on civilian nuclear power, especially small modular reactors. We've been saying on the channel before, and we'll say it again, that India faces a situation where its economy is growing and will continue to grow over the next couple of decades, and its energy generation capacity needs to expand to keep pace with that. There's only so much you can do with renewables and polluting coal-fired power plants. So you need renewables, which tend to be more reliable, tend to be less polluting as well. And nuclear power fits the bill for India's emerging energy needs. And so you saw in France as well that was a big part of the conversation of the Prime Minister with French President Emmanuel Macron. And now, of course, you have Mike Waltz, the National Security Advisor, really the key advisor on foreign policy issues to the President of the United States, talking to Prime Minister Modi about not just the United States-India strategic partnership, but also on defense issues, also on counterterrorism, but also on this issue of nuclear energy and India acquiring small modular reactors that could be beneficial for India's energy journey. So that was also an important meeting, and I'll emphasize this again, that having a good relationship with the National Security Advisor is extremely important. These happen to be extremely trusted figures by the presidents in question, and they tend to be people who presidents turn to a great deal for advice on issues of foreign policy and national security. You might remember, for example, Jake Sullivan, the previous National Security Advisor, was really considered to be on foreign policy issues a very key lieutenant to President Biden, and Mike Waltz, therefore, is following in that tradition, is an important relationship to have for Prime Minister Modi, and of course, an important way for India to communicate its priorities to the new American administration. Also, what you're going to see is, in a very key sense, this meeting between Elon Musk and Narendra Modi. We're going to have to see if it leads to further developments. Now, of course, Prime Minister Modi and Elon Musk have met in the past. This is not a new occurrence, but the difference, of course, is that the difference between those meetings was, of course, that Elon Musk at that point in time was simply a business leader. He was a very powerful business leader, of course, but still a business leader. Now, of course, he also comes with the added heft of being a very, very key advisor, a very, very senior and powerful advisor to Donald Trump. Of course, there's going to be a conversation between the two men on the issues specifically that have been raised in the past as well, which is about Tesla placing manufacturing investments into India. There were some concerns and some difficulties, some disagreements on tariff policies and how exactly Tesla exactly should enter the market, what sort of benefits they should receive, what sort of policies and tariff structures should be implemented for that to take place. Of course, there were disagreements on that for a while, but ultimately it was a conversation that has continued over the last couple of years, by no means settled. But regardless of that, you're seeing Prime Minister Modi and Elon Musk have that meeting, so I'm sure that came up. Also, Starlink, Elon Musk's satellite internet company, which also has made waves in recent years. That was, it has been looking for a license to operate in India, but it has run into some trouble with the Ministry of Home Affairs. The Starlink satellites have been used by insurgents, by people involved in smuggling. The Indian authorities wanted Starlink to share some data on that. They haven't done so. So therefore, there are some concerns about how Starlink and the Indian government can collaborate on these key issues, because if Starlink achieves what it wants to, it will be able to provide low cost and high speed internet to large parts of the world, many parts of the world that are underserved because of its vast network of low flying satellites. Now, that is at least the vision and the goal, but of course they want to expand to India as well. They're looking for a license, and surely that will be a key issue that would have come up in the negotiations between, or the talks between, Prime Minister Modi and Elon Musk as well. So those were the three key meetings that Prime Minister Modi has taken on in just the last couple of hours, since around 9 p.m. India time. It's nearing around midnight, so these meetings have gone on for quite a while. Now, of course, we're going to have a break for a short bit, maybe 2.5-3 hours, and then Prime Minister Modi heads off to meet the President of the United States, Donald Trump. They're going to meet. They're going to have a set of bilateral engagements. They're going to have a press statement, and then you are going to have a dinner that President Trump will host for Prime Minister Modi. That's how the rest of the day is going to play out in the United States. Of course, you might be waking up in India sometime tomorrow morning and seeing all the latest news and the updates, which we will have for you here on India Today Global. Thank you so much for watching us.